Insane, you make me crazy, insane, that's how I feel, insane, you make me crazy, insane, that's how I feel,
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dysfunction Junction. I'm your host, Kim, and I am trying out a little experiment today. I know you can hear my little guy in the background coughing and hacking. Oh, yes. The job of a mother is never done. So I am super crazy duper busy this week, but I want to get my podcast out because I missed last week. And so I'm going to try to do my podcasts in segments this week and see how it goes. I have a lot I want to talk about, but before I do, Caden would like to interrupt me and ask one question. Okay, Caden, what's your question?
Don't let me hold.
Okay.
I'm going to ride the bus with Piper. I'm getting a new backpack. It's a wrestling backpack. And what's that thing called?
A lunchbox?
Yeah, and a lunchbox, too.
What grade are you going to be in?
I don't know.
Kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Yay! Okay. Now can I have my mic back, please?
I have to tell them I'm getting new clothes, too. I'm getting a new backpack. It's a wrestling one.
You already told me that. Okay, cool. All right, so.
I wanted to do two backpacks.
Two backpacks. Okay, so.
I want two backpacks.
Yes, he wants two backpacks. Is this your dad's flashlight? Okay, yeah, so I'm going to try to do it in segments and see what happens because I just can't seem to get 30 minutes in a row. And, okay, I can't talk to you right now, dude. Okay, so, yeah, okay, I can't talk. This is why my podcast is, just poop. Stop talking. Okay, I love you. He wants to ask me a question. What's the question?
You do animals too?
What kind of animals?
No, you do that after you.
Okay. All right, people. Listen, this is an experiment. Let's see how it goes. So, let's do this, people. All right. So, I am going to get right down to it and explain why I have been MIA for a while. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on the podcast before. My son got a late admission into Emerson. And when I mean late, I mean late. Like, he got his letter on, oh God, I don't know. It was like the 15th or something like that. And they wanted him to have everything in, within a week or two. And then we had to find him an apartment. It was just a big mess. And I was trying to get him into this apartment with a couple of kids that he had met. Now get this, to rent this apartment in Boston, which from the apartment to the school was like 30 minutes. That was with walking, meaning, walking to the train, getting on the train, switching, trains and walking to school. That was 30 minutes, which is really good. It was a good neighborhood. It was basically, a brand new place. It was 3 bedroom. But they wanted $2,300 a month for rent. And so there was going to be, the three of them splitting it. So Noah really thought that if he could get into this place, he could get a job, and, work full time and go to school and live in this apartment with these three kids. So, I spoke with the parents and, the girl's dad was a nice man. And the moms, the boys, it was going to be a boy and a girl, and Noah. And the boy's mom was super nice. These people were really, really nice. But when it came right down to it, we couldn't, they wanted first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, which was the same as the rent. Then they wanted a broker's fee times 2. And it was over $13,000. So each of them had to pay over $4,000 to get into this apartment. And we tried everything, GoFundMe pages. I hit up everybody I knew, and we just couldn't get the money together. But what I wasn't thinking the whole time, which these parents were really upset with me. The mom, not so much. She understood, but the dad was really upset. Totally understandable. Time is really it's crunch time now to try to get them an apartment. But we couldn't do it. We couldn't swing it. But then I wasn't even thinking about if we did get him into this apartment, what was he going to get for financial aid? Because we have no money. He would have to do all of this by himself. And of course, we don't have good credit, so there was no way we could, get a loan. He hasn't even heard back from the financial aid office. So we don't even know what he's going to get for financial aid. So we started thinking, we get him this apartment, and then what? How much is he going to get for financial aid? He only got $20,000 to go to a school in Maine. Emerson College in Boston is $42,000. I mean, even if he got $20,000, he's still owed $20,000 for a bill, and they want that by August 1st. There's no way. There's no way. I was absolutely devastated. I was devastated for him, this is his dream. This is the only thing he has ever wanted since he was 6 years old. I'm not saying to go to Emerson, but I mean to be a screenwriter, to be a playwright, to be a performer. This is all he's ever wanted his entire life. And to have that so close, yet, still so far away just sucks. And I felt like I was just ripping his dreams right out of his hands. And basically I am. And my head is telling me, you did all you could. We really did try every single avenue that we could to try to make this happen, and we just couldn't do it. And I forgot where I was going. ADD moment, ding. But it's, in my heart, in my head, I knew we had done everything we could. But my heart is telling me, you failed. You failed your son. You failed as a mother. And this is all your fault. That's truly how I felt. In my head, I know that's not true. But as a mother, I thought, why didn't I have a better job? Why don't I make more money? Why don't I have better credit? All of those things popped in my head. And I'm still thinking those things. But what keeps coming to me over these past few weeks, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. And I have like the daily bread that comes in. I'm not sure how many of you guys, are Christian or are religious at all. You don't have to be Christian to listen to the show. Anybody can listen. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to believe. That's totally up to you. But I read what's called the Daily Bread, and it's basically just scriptures and little prayers of the day to kind of get you moving, get you motivated, helping you feel spiritual. And I don't do it every day like I should, but I try to. My pastor introduced me to the Daily Bread online, which is the app, and it reads it for you. It's amazing. But it keeps coming back to being grateful for what you have and trusting in God that He knows what's best for you, and that you may not have everything you want, but He's going to make sure you have everything you need. And that's hard. That's hard to overcome. It's hard to not overcome, but hard to accept. And just like any other parent, they are, wiser than you. They are smarter than you. They know what's best for you. And we as children need to accept the fact that our parents know best. Of course, human parents don't really know everything, but, he's not quite the typical parent, is he? And God answers all prayers. It's just sometimes His answer is no. Just like a parent. Just like your parent would say, no, you're not doing that. That's not what I think is best for you. And that's that. And I think God is trying to get me to trust him. And that's a hard thing for me. That to trust that he is going to fix it. He's going to make it better. And that I just have to accept that what I have is enough and to not want more. And that's hard. That's really hard. I don't want more for myself. I'm very content in the home that we live. Do I wish it didn't have holes in the wall or crayons on the wall or, fingernail polish on the floor? Of course. Sometimes I wish I had, those houses or cars that you see on those shows, like the Real Housewife shows. Of course. I would love to have those things. But, there are people out there who would absolutely kill to be in the situation that we are in. No, my home is not perfect, but it's a home and we're warm and we're dry and we have food in our stomach and we're all relatively healthy. Physically, emotionally, and mentally, we're a hot mess, but physically we're good. So I need to remember that. And that's really hard. And I'm struggling with that, especially when it comes to my job, because there's a position that I wanted at my job. And I've been told basically that I'm not good enough for it because I don't have a degree, which is absolutely ridiculous because I don't think you need a degree to do that job. But that's what they're telling me. So I have to accept that. For whatever reason, I'm not meant to have this job. And as much as that hurts me, I have to accept that God is telling me, this is not the job for you. This is not where you're supposed to be at right now. And knock it off. We're not discussing this anymore. Enjoy the job that you have and the people that you work with. And that's it. So that's what I'm trying to do. So that's why I've been missing. It was very emotional. It was a very busy time. It's getting harder and harder for me to record these podcasts with these rotten children. But I'm doing my best. I really need to get on a better schedule. I don't know how to do that just yet. I don't want to give up on this podcast. I just froze there for a minute. If I missed anything, I don't want to give up on this podcast. I love it so much. And when I'm recording it, I'm having a blast. Editing it, promoting it, I'm having so much fun. But it's so crazy at work. And by the time I get home and I got these kids and they got baths and bedtime and everything. And, the littles are still, they need a lot of time to go to bed. And it's just a mess. So I am doing the absolute best I can to get these out every week. I am going to continue to do the best that I can. So I do have a new segment of Famously Failing, Famously Failing, you are famously failing. And I know that I do not have a theme song to that. I am working on that as well. I'm only one person. But Demi Lovato's in the news. Now, a lot of you, listening may not know who she is. She is a singer. She used to be on the Mickey Mouse Club. Was she in the Mickey Mouse Club? Maybe she wasn't. No. She wasn't in the Mickey Mouse Club. Britney Spears was in the Mickey Mouse Club. This little girl actually started out on Barney. Her and Selena Gomez were on Barney together, and they were BFFs. If you have young children or even children in their 20s, early 20s, you may remember her from Disney Channel. She was on a show called Sunny with a Chance. She was on all of the Camp Rock movies. She used to date a Jonas brother. But I guess for a really long time, she has struggled with drugs and alcohol. And again, it just goes right back to show you that I could have all the money in the world. It's not going to make me happy. It's just not. And she I guess she had been sober for a really long time. Her battle started when she was a teenager, and her mom had, when all this, I'm not sure if she started talking about this recently, but because I've been doing a lot of research on this, and again, I really need to start recording this, my, video wise, because I talk a lot with my hands, and I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and I'm still very, very animated. So anyway, Miss Demi Lovato has been having issues with drugs and alcohol since she was a teenager. That's part of the reason why her TV show Sunny with a Chance got canceled. She ended up going into rehab. I guess the last straw was when she punched one of her backup dancers in the face on a plane going somewhere. And her mom said that it was a real struggle to raise this girl who was basically the head of the household. She was paying all the bills. She was the one that was supplying everything. And it was hard for her mom to, say, hey, you got to be in by a certain time. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I'm not really sure. I guess her mom, no, I do know. Her mom basically said, either you snap out of whatever you're doing, go get help, or you're not going to be able to see your little sister anymore. And her little sister, I guess, played on Desperate Housewives as one of the wives' daughters. I haven't seen her on anything else, but I guess she was doing really good for a while, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't even have to be anything huge that happens when the people who suffer from this disease, and I can say that now, alcoholism and drug use is a disease because you're using it to treat a symptom of it's a symptom of whatever you're battling, whether it's mental illness or PTSD, or you're struggling with memories of a trauma, which is PTSD. But anyway, whatever it is, whatever you're fighting, anxiety, bipolar, depression, that's all related to that. And people think that it has to be this great, big, stressful thing that happens for you to, have a slip. And that's not always the case. Sometimes, especially if you're bipolar, you're in this, manic state, but you're like really up high. You're like, woohoo, I feel good. Let's go party. And then, you think, oh, I could just take a little bit. I'll be fine. And then, that's how it, spirals. And I guess at one point she said that she was, in her car at 9:00 in the morning, driving to the airport, drinking straight vodka out of a Sprite bottle just so she could fly on a plane to get back to her sober living house. So this little girl is a hot mess. Let's, put some prayers up to this little girl, and because she's a girl. I mean, she's like in her early 20s. She's still just a baby to us. But she needs help, and she needs prayers, and her family needs prayers. They need prayers to get through this struggle with her, because she's not the only one that's hurting. Her family's hurting too. And it must be hard as a mother to watch your daughter struggle and, go through what you're going through and know there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do but support them and be there for them. She's an adult. You can't force her, to do things she doesn't want to do. So that's that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Oh, it's really nothing to stick to. It's not my story. It's her story. But you can find the links to all of this stuff on my website later. Lots of good reads about, the things that she's said about her sobriety over the last few years and what her mom thinks and all that crazy stuff. And now
it's the news you didn't know you needed.
I have a ton of stuff this week, okay? All I have done is read crazy stories of stuff that is happening to people, and it's wild. Absolutely wild. Yet again, you think you had a bad day? Check it out. There was a South African woman who was found alive in the morgue after being pronounced dead. This happened somewhere in the, I just said that, in South Africa. Holy bananas. Can you imagine? She was discovered alive in the morgue shortly after being declared dead in a car crash. And I guess according to the EMTs, I mean, they did everything, you know, her pulse, her heart rate, everything. There was nothing there. And, you know, so they must have, you know, went in to do the autopsy and they pull her out. She's in the freezer. Okay. She's in the fridge and they pull her out and she's alive. Now, I don't know if, you know, they opened up the drawer and she was like freaking out or what, but they opened the refrigerator door and she was alive. Can you freaking imagine? That is like my worst fear. I am so claustrophobic that I had to have an MRI done one or a CAT scan, whatever that big round one is that they wheel you into. I had to have one done once. I was having some issues with dizziness and stuff, and it was fine. I just had a cyst on my nasal cavity. But it makes you feel, I'm like wondering, you can't hear anybody. All you can hear is the humming of the machine. And you wonder, what if they go to lunch and forget about me? It's totally freaks you out. I cannot imagine. You wake up, it's completely dark, and you're freezing. I just can't imagine. That is terrible. The most terrible thing I have ever heard. So then another thing I found was there was a gentleman. What state was this? Oh my gosh. In Massachusetts, a 34-year-old man in Plastow, New Hampshire, had the cops called on him because he was exercising naked at Planet Fitness. OMG. He said he did it because he thought it was a judgment-free zone. Can you freaking imagine? You're sitting there on the treadmill, you know, trying to get a workout in, and you turn around and there's, you know, boyfriend over there completely naked doing yoga with his, you know, his Mr. Bits just, you know, flopping all around. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't. I mean, I kind of wish I would have been there because my life is so boring. I have nothing. I would go to the gym every day if I thought something crazy like that would happen. Some dude would just come in naked, you know? I mean, maybe not this guy because this guy is totally, I mean, he looks like a hippy dippy dude. He's got long hair, a long beard. It's gray. He actually looks like he could be the leader of a cult, actually. I think he was probably scoping it out for his peoples, you know, looking for recruits. Totes weird. I guess the guy walked in and he stripped down right there in front, left his clothes and his belongings at the front desk, walked back and forth across the gym a couple of times, and then settled in over at the yoga mats. Oh my goodness. That's just freaking hilarious. People, come on. Why do we do this to each other? Why? I don't know. So another crazy thing, I told you I have a lot of news. Another really hilarious thing I came across was the New Jersey superintendent was accused of pooping on high school track. He pooped on the track for a long time. Now, apparently, this guy, he's 42. He was the superintendent for the Kenilworth School District in New Jersey. He had been publicly defecating on a local high school track and field. I don't know how long he had been doing it. He was arrested in May. And he had been doing it on a daily basis. And he's actually been dubbed the Pooper Intendant. Awesome. And again, you guys should see the picture of this dude. he looks like a serial killer. I do not doubt that he is the secret pooper, pooping on the school. I guess they, earlier in the year, the high school staff and athletic coaches told a resource officer that they were finding human feces at or near the track and football field on a daily basis. I'm not quite sure. Well, I guess people poop and animal poop looks. I'm really having an issue with my Audacity. It keeps freezing and it's driving me nutballs. Anyway, let's see, where was it? Oh, so they were school staffers were monitoring the field until they identified him as a suspect. They don't say how they found out, though. But can you imagine? And this guy was making $142,000 a year. A year. They paid him $142,000 a year to poop at school. I mean, I'd poop at school for $142,000. You could poop in the school. I'm not really sure why he's pooping on the track. Obviously, he's trying to make a point. All right. Obviously, this dude, again, is mentally ill. He must be. And as I'm reading this, I guess there's a big line of Florida poopers. If you go to the Huffington Post website, there's this big thing of all, that there have been more than one Florida pooper. Hey, I don't know. When you got to go, you got to go. What are you going to do? Anyway, so I am going to wrap the news you didn't know you needed with the story from McDonald's about a customer who got her butt kicked because she started a fight with one of the workers at McDonald's because they caught her trying to steal a free drink. She asked for a water cup and then attempted to grab a free soda. And I mean, the girl who was kicking this girl's butt she was a big girl. She's yeah. I mean, the girl that was the one who wanted the free soda, she was, a pretty average size girl. The girl who worked at McDonald's was a big girl. I mean, she's tall. She's a hefty chick. And she was like throwing her around like a rag doll for a cup of soda. Well, it's because they turned off the soda machine, I guess, and the girl got mad and threw a shake at her, the employee. But if you already had a shake, why were you trying to get a soda? Is that crazy? Are we all that insane? I mean, this is what sugar does to you. This is the sugar in your food, in your soda, that at McDonald's that drives people absolutely nuts. You will slap a bitch for not giving you soda. It's cray-cray to me. And by the way, did you guys know that cray-cray is not a thing anymore? Apparently, according to my daughter, nobody says that anymore. Well, I'm bringing it back. Okay? I'm also bringing back fresh, chill, chilling like a villain, dope. That's it. That's all I can think of right now. But I'm bringing those back. So, because I think they're dope. I think they're awesome. I think it's, awesome. Yeah, dope, fresh. I think cool is still good. Cray cray, I'm still keeping that. What else? What else did I say? Yeah, I'm bringing all those cool words back because they should never went out of style. If they could bring Murphy Brown back, I'm bringing the word fresh back. I can do that. I'm making that happen. I'm making it happen. So now we're going to round it off with, oh my God, I still have so much to talk about, and I've been talking for 26 minutes. I have a lot of news. I know I've been gone a while, and I have a lot of things to say. So what should I do first, people? Keto Corner or Kim's Pet Peeves? So I'm going to do my pet peeves first. I only have one this week. So here it is, people.
Kim's Pet Peeves.
My pet peeve of the week this week, people, is glitter. Okay? I hate glitter. It gets everywhere. I can't stand it. And for whatever reason, at school, the teachers insist on using it every single day. Whenever my husband picks up my kids from school, it looks like they had been to a strip club. Their teacher, that's what it's like. Their teacher is a stripper. And that, that's how they're getting the glitter. It's ridiculous. Glitter. It's so stupid. What does it do? How does it enhance my life? It doesn't. It gets everywhere. It gets in my stuff. You can't get it off. You walk around all day with one stupid piece of glitter stuck to your cheek that no one talks to you about. Nobody tells you that it's there. So then they think I've been to the strip club. Maybe they're thinking I'm a stripper. I'm not. And I never will be. I can't. I have too much stage fright to make that happen. Anyway. So, like I said, that is it. That's my only pet peeve. Glitter. I don't know how I feel about this episode. But it is what it is. I'm trying to be there for you people, but it's difficult. So now we're going to end the episode with Keto Corner. I love keto and intermittent fasting. It is amazing. I weighed myself this morning. I was 203 and change. And it's awesome. I'm very excited. It has been I've got to 199 before on keto, but I gave up on it too soon because I really didn't know, the ins and outs of keto and intermittent fasting. With intermittent fasting, I've been doing 3 days of 36-hour fasting and then 4 days of, regular eating. I've been fasting Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then the other days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, eating my regular meals, well, really just lunch and dinner, and then, the weekends. It really has, with the keto and the intermittent fasting, it really does decrease your appetite. I'm kind of disappointed because I made some really cool crackers this weekend that I haven't been hungry for, and it's disappointing. But I didn't really make them for me. I made them for the kids. I am putting them on a version of keto. It's just a really low-carb diet. They can still have fruit. Because they're, they're little kids and they need that. But one part of the keto that I am sticking to is we didn't buy any snacks this week. No chips, no cookies, no cakes, no cereal. We do have oatmeal because it's got a lot of fiber in it. It's not the best. I mean, it's still got a lot of sugar in it, but like I said, this is just a version for the kids. I've tried to eliminate as much sugar as I possibly can. And I'm really trying to get away from the whole snacking aspect. And so far, the 3 little ones have been doing really well. Piper's been doing amazing. She seems to really enjoy it. She's been having 3 meals a day, no snacking. She didn't even have a snack tonight, never came out, didn't have a snack last night. Before she went to bed. She started eating her dinner. She never finished it. She was full. And I've never, ever made my children clean their plate. Ever. I think that makes fat kids that later on turn into fat adults. But I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've always told them stop eating if you're not hungry. I've always promoted that. But they're still chunky. What are you going to do? And I'm not saying I want skinny kids. I want healthy kids. I don't want them full of sugar. I don't want them full of junk. I want them to be able to feel energized and feel just good. Piper has been writing a lot lately, and she hasn't done that for a really long time, writing these great stories. Don't know where she's coming up with them, but she's very excited about it. The other day, she was so into her writing that she turned off all the lights in her room. She went in her closet with the flashlight, and she's writing this, really intense story. She wanted to get in the mood so she could write the story. She fell asleep in the closet. My husband took a picture of her. I don't know if I can find it, but I'm just really proud of her. And she has even lost a few pounds, which is fine. And the only reason why I know this is because we're doing this program at the hospital called Healthy for Me. And it just teaches them healthy habits. Again, it's not about losing weight. It's not about getting skinny. It's about being healthy. And as we all know, that you can be a big person and still be healthy. And you can be a thin person and be very unhealthy. So that's what I'm focusing on. The boys went to bed tonight. They didn't ask for a snack, which they normally do. This morning they woke up, and normally they'll have a breakfast before they even go to school. And and it was always something really bad for them: cereal, Pop-Tarts, waffles. And this morning, and then go to school and, have breakfast there. And, so this morning they both had one piece of fruit, and that was it. They didn't ask for anything else. So I'm feeling really good about this, people. I really, really am. But the kids were complaining about that we don't have anything to eat. So I made a couple of things that were very low carb, very healthy, things that would fill them up. And I've made some pictures so you guys can see. I will put those on my website, on my Facebook, any place you can think of, I'll probably get it there. But they came out really good and really filling, and the kids really like them. It's funny. Well, except for the sesame crisp bread, they didn't really care for that. But I made some golden granola, which is wonderful. All it was nuts and seeds. I think there's some almond flour in there. But that's super good. Granola bars. I made those homemade granola bars, which again, it's just nuts, seeds, some nut butter. I use peanut butter, which again makes the carbs a little bit higher, but that's what I had. So that's what I used. And then I made some keto seed crackers, which were really good. Again, just nuts and seeds, some almond flour. Did I put an almond flour in it? I think so. But I think both of the crackers, the keto seed crackers and the low carb sesame crisp bread, both had psyllium husk in it, and that's supposed to be a thickener. Plus, helps with the fiber intake. And they taste really good. I mean, it doesn't taste bad. So it's been wonderful. It really has been wonderful. And all these years, I've been told that intermittent, when you fast or when you don't eat for a certain amount of time, do you guys hear that? That's my phone. That your body will actually starve. And that's not true. It's not true. I mean, you think of the cavemen, they would fast for, days because they didn't always have food. And you would think if that was the case, that these people who didn't have food and fasted for days, that, how would they even survive? They wouldn't have enough energy to even hunt, because they'd be so tired and so withdrawn and depressed, and they wouldn't be able to function. That's simply not true. They fasted for days and were still out there hunting, and then they'd feast for days, and then they go through the same cycle again. And what ends up happening is your body uses the fat that you're eating for fuel. When you eat junk like bread and sugary things, and even, wheat, certain vegetables, it just turns into straight sugar, and you don't burn it off. You burn it off very, very quickly. So you're hungry again really soon. So when you eat good fats, your body stays full longer and you're not eating as much. So I think I am going to have a podcast here pretty soon dedicated just to strictly the keto thing. Just to talk a little bit more about it and get people more familiar with it. I really enjoy it. It's really become a passion of mine. It's become a passion in the house. And just to give everybody updates of how we're doing, how we're feeling, how the kids are feeling. I'm so proud of my kids. I really am. And even Caden told his teacher at school, I can't have any more sugar. My mom says no more sugar. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, all right, I'm going to wrap up this thing up. I've been rambling on for a while now. I really apologize that, I haven't been around. Hopefully this will be the last break that I take for a while until, the holidays. But I just thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being so patient. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming back and checking us out. I may have, to be able to keep current, I may have more episodes here where you hear a kid in the background or my husband interrupts to, tell me that it's time for dinner, just so I can get this stuff out. I'm tired of waiting to so late at night. I feel like I have more energy during the day than at night, So, but like I said, thank you again so much for riding this hot mess express with me. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media pages. You can connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/dysfuncjunk7. And of course, on our Facebook group page at facebook.com/groups/DF podcast. If you prefer Twitter, you can find us at twitter.com/dysfuncjunkmom. For all you Instagram peeps, you can look us up at instagram.com/dysfuncjunk7. And at last, but certainly not least, if you find it in your heart to buy this old lady a coffee, please check out my Patreon account and donate $1, because as I said before, it is free for you, but it is not free for me. So if you like what you hear and you want me to keep going, if you want to help out, that'd be really great. Share me with your friends. Share me on your social media pages. If you just want to say, oh my God, check out this girl, she's making a fool of herself, I'm totally okay with that. Seriously. Share me with your friends. I like to be shared. So please, you can also listen to this podcast on my website at www.dfpodcast. That's D as in dog, F as in Frank podcast, where all my show notes will be, with all the links to everything that we talked about, including my recipes. You can find me on just about, any place you can get a podcast. You can find me on Spreaker.com. You can find me on the Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Google Play. I have even submitted to Spotify. Whoop, whoop. All kinds of places. Please check us out there. What else was I going to say? I think that's it for now. I'm getting a little sleepy. It's late. My brain isn't functioning properly. Again, I'm really, really sorry that I had to take some time off. The family needed me. But I really appreciate you guys coming back and checking it out and seeing what's been happening. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.
You make me crazy, insane. That's how I feel, insane. You make me crazy, insane. That's how I feel,